Alright, motherfuckers, it's your boy the Hater, and I've got to do this episode. Episode 1 of the Bad Booking sub-series here on the Hater channel. Subscribe right now, motherfucker. Here's the thing about bad booking, right? There's various forms of bad booking that we're going to talk about. The first of these is going to be what I call the mirror image rule. For some reason, WWE and other wrestling companies as well have this desire to present the same shit repackaged in a different way. This takes on many forms. One of the forms is the same gimmick for multiple wrestlers. Nothing is unique anymore. No one has an identity. You take someone that's stale, and even if you want to repackage them, they usually get repackaged as another stale thing. Perfect example. Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was getting stale. So someone decided, let's take stale Baron Corbin and make him King Corbin. Who benefited from this? No one. No one, motherfucks. Because Baron Corbin did not understand that when you become King Corbin, you have to start doing things differently. You can't be the same guy, just wear a crown. That's stupid. People like Booker T took the King gimmick and made it something entirely different. Now, that being said, it's also inexcusable for King Booker. King Booker deserved more, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about gimmicks and about storylines that follow the hater's mirror image rule. This can be best seen by the formulaic way that wrestlers are pushed. Let's take Rick Boogs from fucking SmackDown, right? I don't even see this guy wrestle. I don't really watch SmackDown. But from what I understand, this guy has Elias written all over him, okay? That's what's going to happen. This guy is going to have an Elias career, if he's lucky. If he's unlucky, he's going to have an Aleister Black career. The facts are what the facts are, motherfucks. Why do we need another guy who plays the guitar with long hair and facial hair? We already have Elias. Why is another one of these guys necessary? Here's another one, a personal favorite of the haters. Why do we need Bronson Reed in NXT when we had Bull Dempsey and that was a complete disaster? I don't know. Can anyone tell me? Why do we need Rhea Ripley when Ruby Riott was a total disaster? What makes Ruby Riott worse than Rhea Ripley? Name one thing. Or what makes her better? Name one thing. Nothing, motherfucks. She has more size, but who cares? Who cares? All the women are like the same size except for her anyways. And Raquel Gonzalez. Can you imagine? It's going to happen. Raquel Gonzalez versus, what's her face? Versus Rhea Ripley. It's going to happen on the main roster in like a year. Probably at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? The same shit has been happening in the women's division. Beyond the fact that all the wrestlers are totally interchangeable and no one has any personality or any identity, except for Alexa Bliss, who has a shitty personality and a shitty identity. The same thing has been happening for now years. First, it's Sasha Banks' turn to get a push. She gets pushed. Then, it's Charlotte Flair's turn to get a push. See, she gets pushed from NXT all the way to the main roster. Then, well, Becky Lynch hasn't had a turn. I think it's time to push her. After that, what are we going to do? I don't know. Alexa Bliss hasn't come to the main roster and won every title yet. Let's give it to her. The same shit is going to happen again and again. At some point, Rhea Ripley will move to SmackDown and will become SmackDown champion. At some point, Asuka will probably be champion again. Same thing, Asuka moved. It happened. Io Shirai is going to come over soon and she will become SmackDown or Raw champion eventually. Everyone gets a turn. It makes the titles feel like shit. The only thing that actually worked, ironically, is Becky Lynch's shitty Conor McGregor impersonation. But that got her over because that's all it takes. Is do the same thing that another person from Ireland, who's a guy, did as a girl and presented as unique. That's what happened, motherfucks. But at least she got over again. She was on the verge of becoming yet another Bayley or yet another Sasha Banks. But no, she exceeded that. Unlike other wrestlers, like Bianca Belair, who is destined to become the next Sasha Banks or the next Bayley. These girls will never be real main eventers. It'll never happen. You know, they'll never be like on the level of Becky Lynch or Charlotte or even Asuka. But they're all kind of on the same level anyways, so who gives a rat's ass? This is one of the biggest problems in booking. The idea, cucks, that nothing needs to happen differently than it did before. We're going to continue seeing this. Raquel Gonzalez is the next Shayna Baszler, or the next Charlotte, or the next fucking, who else was it? Rhea Ripley. She's going to have the same career. Dakota Kai is going to go and become the next Ruby Riott, or the next Nikki Cross. There's only two kinds of wrestlers. The Hulk Hogan women wrestlers, and then the Taka Michinoku women wrestlers. Currently, Charlotte and Ruby Riott, not Ruby Riott, but the other one, Rhea Ripley, same fucking shit, two R's, RR, Rhea Ripley, Ruby Riott. It's like the same lazy nonsense. Anyways, the two of them are in a feud to see who can beat Nikki Cross the fastest, because that's how low Nikki Cross is on the list. Where Nikki Cross surviving a 2-minute match against Rhea Ripley is considered a success. Imagine, motherfucks, imagine if The Rock wrestled Triple H, and Triple H's goal was to survive 2 minutes with The Rock. That wouldn't happen because they were both stars. Now, with that being said, the greater problem, in my opinion, of this inconsistency in booking, or this bad booking decision, is not the fact that we keep seeing the same type of wrestler again and again, or even the same type of storyline again and again. It's the fact that throughout this circle jerk, no one is trying to be different. Why? Why should Damian Priest, why should Karrion Kross be any different? Why should they put any work into their characters when they know that beating Karrion Kross will lead them to the promised land, to NXT, and eventually to the main roster somewhere? That being said, why would anyone be different? The few people that are different in the last few years, Velveteen Dream, Enzo Amore, Bullet Club, kind of, like, not in WWE obviously, but in other places, they either have great success, they pretty much always have great success. I mean, let's be real. Enzo Amore and Velveteen Dream had great success. They were fired for other reasons, but they had great success. Bullet Club is like one of the most successful things in wrestling in the last like 20 years. Being different matters. That's why I keep saying, like, I don't know, Cameron Grimes is awesome or Dexter Lewis is awesome, because they're different. Who was the last guy to beat Dexter Lewis? Who was the last person to have a character like that? I mean, who was the last person to have a character, period? Who was the last person to show any kind of personality? It's Cameron Grimes, Dexter Loomis. That's it, motherfuckers. Velveteen Dream was no longer there. Everybody else is interchangeable. You need Omos? No, you don't. You have Braun Strowman. But hey, why do you need both of them? You don't need both of them. Paulo Cruz, he's doing pretty well because he's different. But then you have people like Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Nakamura is literally every other foreign wrestler except for Del Rio. He's a guy that we're told is supposed to be good, but we don't see that he's good. What's the difference between Nakamura and Sin Cara? Neither can speak English, neither has done anything memorable, and neither has a character. Oh, it's a guy in a mask, it's a guy who dresses like Michael Jackson. Great. Their character is based entirely on the fact that they're foreigners. They come in with that premise, and they have no reason to develop their own character. Thus, leading to the bad booking decision of continuously doing the same thing. People who want to see WWE sign like Okada and all this other shit, I don't know why. He's going to have a Nakamura career. Even if he wins the title, it's going to be the same shit. It might as well have been Tozawa. Who cares who it is? You know what I mean? That's what's important here, motherfuckers. That's what's important. The idea that doing the same thing over and over again will obviously get stale. Nobody wants to see the next Mexican luchador. Nobody wants to see this because the last 19 of them haven't worked. Nobody wants to see the next big Japanese sensation. And you'll notice this. People were excited and hyped about Asuka when she debuted because she was like interesting and they hadn't seen a Japanese woman in WWE before. And then after that, every couple of months, there's a new one. You know, Io Shirai. Nobody gives a fuck about her. Kairi Sane. People pretend that she had the best elbow drop ever. And then she's gone. Peace. Beat it, kid. Now, after Io Shirai, it's this other one. Sarai and Shirai. I mean, this is some fucking joke or something. They're not even trying to come up with names. Just call her Bio Sarai, and there you have it, motherfucks. This is going to get stale. People who may have liked Io Shirai are not going to like Sarai because it's the same shit. People that like Rhea Ripley aren't going to like Raquel Gonzalez because there's no difference between them. If I like one, I'm not going to like the same thing again and again. It's kind of like the PS4 and PS5. I've been trying to get my hands on a PS5, but at the end of the day, when the fuck do I need one? So I can play the same exact games as my PS4? Same shit, motherfuckers. Same shit. Come up with new games. Come up with do something different. The graphics are at a point where it doesn't really fucking matter. I'd even argue that PS3 graphics are pretty much on par with PS4 graphics. At least the leaps and bounds weren't like it was from, let's say, PS1 to PS2, or PS2 to PS3, where it's like a different world entirely. Things are becoming more stale and more stagnant because nobody is out there trying to do new things. Remember when, Elijah Burke left WWE and left his shitty cornerman MMA gimmick? And when he became the Pope didn't really have a character. Like, you can't look at him and be like, this is what he is. But you can kind of get what he was. He was supposed to be this like streetwise, eloquent guy who was just really, really cool. That's what he was. He was a dude that was really, really cool. And you're like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I want to see that. That's what we need. Elijah Burke was a cool dude in real life, so he became a cool dude in wrestling. Drew McIntyre, unfortunately, isn't a cool dude. So periodically, they have to reinvent elements of Drew McIntyre. Oh, the Scottish Terminator. Oh, the Scottish Warrior. Oh, the Scottish Gladiator. Oh, here, put him on a kilt. Give him a big claymore to stab on the ground. Oh, it's his grandfather's sword. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to see that. How about develop a personality? Oh, he doesn't have a personality, so let's put a kilt on him. Same thing with Lashley. He comes in, he has no personality, never had. Right? What do? They're like, oh, here, he's a Family Guy gimmick. Now he's like supposed to be this playboy, like CEO type. No! How about give him a personality? You can't. At the end of the day, I understand. I understand the idea that you can have a manager, and the manager can fill in the gaps. But a manager has never gotten a shitty wrestler over just by themselves. I cannot think of one example. Look at, what's his name, Paul Ellering. He tried to get the AOP, which I liked, over. It didn't work. Putting the two Indian guys with whatever, Malcolm Bivens, I think they call him, the guy from ROH, it's not going to get them over the same way that AOP didn't get over. That's the problem. The problem is you need to have character within the character. You can't take a guy from like Canada who is also Indian and speaks like Punjabi, force him to not speak English, then take an Albanian, force him to speak Albanian, and then expect these guys to get over because you give them Paul Ellering. It's not going to work. Both those guys spoke English. Let them speak English. Let them get over, develop personalities. But no, that's not the way it works. Name one person who sucks that has gotten over only because of a manager. The only example that might exist is Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. That's the only one. Paul Heyman has been a shitty manager. He has failed to get everyone over. Everyone that's gotten over with Heyman has gotten over because of themselves. The ones that don't have the talent and the ability to get over do not get over with him. As a matter of fact, some of them, like Curtis Axel, got over better by themselves. Think about it. Curtis Axel. Heyman didn't do shit for him. Ryback. Heyman didn't do shit for him. Cesaro. Heyman didn't do shit for him. CM Punk. Arguably, Heyman ruined CM Punk when he was kind of interesting. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar got over by himself. He's never needed Heyman. Now it's like a nice little nostalgia act. Paul Heyman is like almost independent of Brock Lesnar. He comes out and cuts his promo. Brock Lesnar can get himself over super easily, and he's done it a million times in a million different venues. The facts are what the facts are, cuckolds. Seeing the same shit over and over again, and this kind of bad booking with respect to repetition is running its course. Wrestling is losing viewers by the day, motherfucks, and it's because nobody wants to see a company where you have Mansoor, where you have Mustafa Ali, where you have Cedric Alexander, where you have fucking Buddy Murphy, not anymore, thank God, where you have all these Chad Gable, all these guys that it's like, why are they even here? Why is someone paying Chad Gable to be a wrestler? Why? For what reason? Who looked at Chad Gable at any given point and thought, this guy's gonna make us money? Who thought that? The only choice was American Alpha. They could have done it. They could have been like, why break up American Alpha? Keep them as a perennial tag team. That's another thing we need. Perennial tag teams. These throwaway nonsense tag teams are not working out. The point is, to have good booking, you need good wrestlers. To have good wrestlers, you need different wrestlers. To have different wrestlers, you need to incentivize being different. And I mean actually being different. Let's compare two characters to two other characters, but also to each other. Let's take two dark characters, Aleister Black and Karrion Kross. One talks about coffins, the other one talks about clocks. Aside from their respective fetishes about clocks and coffins, and candles and all that other bullshit, what is the fundamental difference between Karrion Kross and Aleister Black? The correct answer, motherfucks, is there is no difference. And that's why Karrion Kross will not have a great career. He might have a better career than Aleister Black because he's not a chubby, like, short, fat guy. But beyond that, and because he has, like, a valet and he has better production, you know, but beyond that, he won't achieve much more. And if he does, it'll be forced. It won't be because he's better. It won't be because he's more interesting. It won't be for any reason other than they've decided to make him that. And sometimes this works. John Cena is one of those examples. Like, what's the difference between John Cena and fucking Lance Cade, right? No difference, really. I mean, we don't know if Lance Cade, before he died, he was the most charismatic guy ever. He never really got a chance, you know? What's the difference between Cena and Alex Riley? Nothing really, you know? But sometimes, you know, certain people get picked. But then they have to carry themselves. None of these guys have what it takes. Now let's compare these two guys that I just said, Aleister Black and Karrion Kross, to two other characters with similar gimmicks, but where the difference is much clearer. I don't know, King Booker, like I said earlier, and King Corbin, or King Booker and King Sheamus, or King Barrett and King Kurt Angle. Let's look at King Kurt versus King Barrett, right? Think about how different those two characters are. King Barrett is like the same thing as King Sheamus or King Corbin, an asshole with a cape and a scepter. King Kurt, first of all, he calls himself King Kurt because of alliteration and because he's Kurt. He's a goof. He can't be like a real king, right? He cannot betray his original character and just turn into like a king character who just thinks he's arrogant and really starts believing he's king. Think about that. Kurt Angle comes out, King Kurt, his whole thing is he hits people with a scepter now. The only thing that's changed is he has a goofy crown, right? And now he hits people with a scepter. And it's entertaining because the character never changed. Look at King Booker. King Booker is one take of the King Barrett and other king characters. It is a guy that starts thinking of himself as king. Now compare King Booker to King Corbin, the most recent King of the Ring. King Corbin, his interpretation of this is I'm going to pretend that I'm king and my character thinks that he is king somehow. He starts acting like a king. His music is still like king music. Okay, no one cares about that. King Booker takes it a step further. The character of King Booker is essentially this. What if someone really did win King of the Ring and start acting like a king in an exaggerated manner? It would obviously be retarded. That's why characters like King Sheamus and King Corbin don't work, because it's retarded. But when someone understands that it's retarded, someone who actually is cool in real life, like Booker T, he understands it, so he's like, okay, this character is going to be a spoof of that. That's the only way this works. Someone tells me act like a king, I'm going to raise my pinky up and change my accent. Which is hilarious, because Booker T has a very distinctive urban Texan way of speaking. And now he's speaking like a prim and proper English gentleman with exaggerated king clothes, not like a stupid Sheamus Irish crown or whatever, or the High King. No, he wore like a traditional, like ridiculously over-the-top cape. He would twirl around in the ring while looking up in some weird condescending way. He'd raise his pinky. He had Queen Charmel. You know, it made sense. He was different. Booker T, who was already a legend, was not satisfied, motherfucks, with simply being king of the ring and just being like, I'm going to pretend I'm a real king. No. It did not work like that. He decided that he was going to do something different and something special. And that's why he was a good character. Because it was not repetitive. The booking of King Booker whether it was him or whoever decided that he was going to play the character this way, the booking of it was done in such a way that you can argue that the King Booker character, even though it was relatively short-lived, was as important as the Booker T character. You see what I'm saying, motherfuckers? You see what I'm saying? When Booker T went to TNA, he once again went as normal Booker T and then became essentially King Booker again. So there you go. Doing the same shit. The next King of the Ring needs to think, what can I do with this King character? Exactly. But they won't. They won't. It'll be like King Karrion Kross and he'll be like, I'm the king, I rule through all. Or King, what's it called? King, okay, what's the guy? The Archer of Infamy guy. I forget his name. The tall guy. Punisher Martinez was his name in the Indies. Sound like a fucking mark. That guy. You know? David Priest. There you go. David Priest. That guy. Oh, I'm the king. And he's going to be like a serious king. Hopefully he'll do something better. He's not that bad. So, but even that. David Priest, he was obviously supposed to be some sort of dark character like Aleister Black. People are like, alright, we have too many of these jabrones. So simple as that, but the fucks, he became like a playboy. The fuck? Anyways, motherfuckers, that's all I gotta say about that. Stay good.